Welcome back to Torpedoes and Tarantulas, where it has now been 2 days since we unboxed the 4 new additions. Now we're going to do a feeding video with all but one of them. I'll explain that a little more here in just a second. But let's go ahead and get the first tarantula fed. This is my Brachypelma vagans sling. You can see its bald little booty right there next to the cork bark. Let's see if it's hungry. And it is. I caught this little guy doing some digging underneath that cork bark last night. Came out from underneath the cork bark, carried a mouthful of dirt all the way over to the other end of the enclosure. So it is definitely making itself at home, and now it's enjoying its first meal here at Torpedoes and Tarantulas. Let me move on to the second one and explain to you why we're not going to be feeding one of them. So up next is my favorite of the new additions, and one of the prettiest, of course. Now back to the tarantula that we're not going to feed. Please save all hateful comments, because we don't need them here. But I had an escapee. My Poecilotheria ornata somehow escaped. The tarantula was probably an inch, and the ventilation holes that I drilled, my drill still had a bit in it. I assumed it was the last bit that I used because I rarely use my drill. And the holes were probably 3/16 of an inch. I would not have thought that a tarantula sling, a 1-inch tarantula sling, could get out of a hole that size. But then I thought back, and if you go back and watch the unboxing video where the, sorry about that notification, where the sling let itself out of the vial, if you look closely, its abdomen was quite small. In fact, the smallest of the 4 tarantulas that I got. So it was in need of a feed. So I think, sorry guys, my light went out. Let me replace the battery. So I think because its abdomen was so small, it was able to get out of the ventilation holes. So from now until months from now, when I write it off as lost, every time I walk in the room, I will be looking at the ceiling, especially at night. So that's all about that one. We won't be feeding it again. Like I said, please save the shitty comments. We don't need them. You know, there's no sense in it. It happens, you know. You beat yourself up over it, but then you go on and you feed something beautiful like this animal right here, which I'm sure would like a female red runner. Did you see how he raised up when she hit the substrate there? It's right underneath him, and he hasn't made a move. I would have assumed he's hungry because I was interacting with him last night. Oh, yeah, there we go. Very nice little takedown. Now, if I didn't say it because I got distracted with the talking about the sling that I lost, this is my Brachypelma smithi male. There's some out there that believe it's a Hamori, and of course there's all kinds of confusion and misinformation on the 2 species. Some people think that they're one and the same. Most of us know they're 2 different species, but a lot of us, not us, but a lot of people would not know the differences, and a lot of them are pretty subtle. And I didn't really think about it when I unboxed him until a friend of mine had mentioned something about it being a Hamori, and then I watched a video of the comparison of the 2, and I mean, he's got the characteristics of both, which he could possibly be a hybrid, but I don't know. It's not going to be until the next molt that I know for sure if it's going to be a smithi or a Hamori, but I believe it's a smithi. Either way, he's gorgeous, so I'm glad to have him. Waiting on him to do some moving or something here. I'm just killing time because I'm kind of nervous about feeding the next one. It's the only animal in my collection that makes me nervous. My centipede doesn't even make me nervous, but the next one does. And I'm going to try a little experiment with feeding it and see what happens. There he is. That is the beautiful Brachypelma smithi male, now happily munching on a female red runner. Let's move on to the last one. Alright, so as I mentioned, this is the last edition, and this is the one that makes me nervous, simply because of its size and its notoriety for its hairs and everything like that. Now, I said I was going to do an experiment. You know, a lot of people have huge spiders. They feed them live rodents, which I would never condone that. And a lot of them will feed like dead, like baby mice, rats, stuff like that, which is okay to do every once in a while, but that's not their main diet. So I have a few pinky mice, and I just thought I would try to offer it one and see what would happen. This is another one I was testing its temperament last night, and it gave me kind of a food response, so I'd like to see if it will eat this thing or not. I'm not quite sure. I'm telling you, this thing makes me nervous. This thing makes me freaking nervous. Take the damn mouse. I'm telling you, if this thing starts up the tweezers, it can have them. Yep, you can have them. Now it's biting at the plant. That's why this son of a bitch makes me nervous. Hold on, guys. Let me go get a roach to distract it. So I know these things have huge appetites, so we're just going to offer it a huge meal. Get it the hell off my tongs and get it distracted. Because, yeah, that thing was making me nervous. This thing, like I said, is an absolute beast. So I'm just really cautious around it because of that. So the mouse experiment did not work, but it is enjoying a large adult male hisser. See if I can get some more light on the subject there. Yeah, the minute that thing started grabbing the tongs, I was ready to let go. This thing just really makes me nervous. Not nervous to the point to where there's going to be any danger to the animal or myself, but it's just, its size is just kind of intimidating. Plus their hairs, they're notorious for very, very irritating hairs, so. But I am looking forward to watching this thing grow, because it's not fully grown. This is one of those tarantulas they talk about being as big as a dinner plate. I'm going to let it munch for a minute and see if it does anything. If it does, I'll start recording. If not, I'll end the video. So with that being said, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up and a comment. Subscribe if you have not done that. Share these videos, and always, always, always take care of yourselves and each other. Have a great night or a great day. God bless. So I think this is the best footage we're going to get of this tarantula at this point. I just don't have the time to wait an hour or two for that roach to die, then the tarantula to really start working it over. I really wanted to get some shots of this thing's fangs working, but unfortunately, we didn't get to see that. You can see down there underneath its foot, covered in substrate now, is the little pinky mouse. I am not going to attempt to remove that thing right now. I'll remove that tomorrow once once this tarantula is done eating this roach. But it had pulled all these plants that I've got. I looked in on it yesterday afternoon, like I said, interacted with it a little bit just to kind of get a feel for it. And it had taken this plant and pulled them out of the substrate, and had dragged them over here on this end of the enclosure. And I just, it ran into its cork bark hide, and I just took the plants, put them back in place. And it's left them alone since then, but I think I've got a pretty good setup for this guy. So hopefully it will do well and get really, really big for us. And I may be at some point looking to get rid of this one. That's kind of the purpose behind buying it in the first place, was to possibly get rid of it in the future. because of its price, but I don't know. We'll see. Now, I was doing some measuring, some rough measuring while this thing was holding the roach, and I can tell you that that carapace and abdomen together is probably 3 inches. Each one of those legs is probably 4 inches. So like I said, this thing is a freaking behemoth. So I'm super excited to have it, but again, like I said, it makes me nervous. Like I said, it doesn't mean that I'm ever going to be a danger to it or it a danger to myself, but I'm going to give it a lot more respect than I do any of my other animals. Sorry I couldn't get any fang action or anything like that, or get it to eat a mouse. But at least we got to get a good look at it, and I hope you enjoyed this video and I didn't bore you too much. Hey, I've got to go. Got to get ready to go to work early in the morning, so I'm going to end this video right here and say thanks for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves and each other. Have a great day, great night.